the regular season. So these are two extremely fast-playing teams. I do wonder if Fnatic slows down when Rekkles is in the lineup compared to Bwipo in the bottom lane when they're playing a different style. But Fnatic, super aggressive as well.
Yeah, and especially since Rekkles does traditionally like to play a lot of the super scaling AD carries. So it's not even like it would probably be an early game AD carry, even if they did, do a marksman. Of course, they're definitely going to have Bwipo there as well for possible changes, whether it is top or bottom or whatever. But the bottom lane mages have really fallen out of style. I mean, we do still see Swain, but he's kind of the main.
Yeah, I think if they play Bwipo, it'll be to spell Soaz in top lane.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Because my problem with it is, so I still think it can work. Like when Afreeca has the same player playing a marksman or a Swain, then you can't really necessarily preempt that in draft. If you bring in Bwipo now and you have Bwipo Soaz, you're like, okay, well they're gonna play something wacky bot. If we think Swain is the only one that's actually good, well, you ban Swain, right? And then that's not really a big issue. And we've seen Fnatic try more recently, some things. Like we were watching the Galio game, and that was pretty tragic, playing the Galio Alistar bot lane. I believe that was against Vitality, if I'm recalling correctly. But, I think it gets harder to use Bwipo in that bot lane role, which does kind of take away one of their advantages. But I mean, Rekkles is an incredible marksman player, and I think that'll be a very exciting matchup in the bottom lane as well, because I also think that is pretty differing in styles. He likes to play the late game stuff. JackeyLove's most played is Lucian. He actually played 15 Lucian games in summer, and then he plays a lot of Varus as well. So he plays a ton of lane dominant style. It's not that he can't play other things also. And admittedly, his Lucian games were mostly earlier in the summer split. But I do think that there's very diverging styles amongst all the players. And I give Fnatic a much better chance than I do 100 Thieves. I think.
Oh yeah,
especially because you have Caps in the mid lane. That guy is such a difference maker, and we've seen that he can match up against the very best mids in the world at MSI. He was playing incredibly well, and I felt like MSI for Caps was kind of his coming out to the world and showing that he really is a top tier international mid, not just within Europe. He's one of the best in the whole world, and I think this is another opportunity for him to kind of prove that once again, and maybe even challenge for the title of perhaps one of the best, if not the best mid in the world.
I think that this is actually a pretty good group for Fnatic, all things considered. I think they match up favorably with 100 Thieves because of the early game. I think the regions in their group are actually favorable for them. The fact that it's NA, EU, and LPL already in this group, that means G2, C9, EDG can't get drawn in there from the play-in. So this will most likely be what is perceived to be the weakest play-in team that comes in, whether it would be G-Rex or one of the emerging regions if they pull off an upset. So that puts Fnatic pretty solidly as the number 2 in this group based on projections. I have a way too early power ranking that I would never reveal entirely publicly, but I have Fnatic as 6th best team in the world coming in. So they're deserving of the pool 1 seed.
Yeah.
I think IG is better than them, but it's not to a point where I don't see Fnatic possibly winning a game against them, right? Fnatic in Europe has so many individual outplays. And yes, IG probably better at most of those individual outplays, but in a best of 1, absolutely capable of getting a few fights going your way and taking a game.
Totally. I mean, you only need
a quick picture of that.
You only need.
I got it. Who wants it?
You only tweet it out. You only need one, like you say, right? If they're playing a best of 7 or something, I think IG wins almost every time. Probably. I actually think IG is. I think probably. Well, them or Afreeca, they're both insanely good pool 2 seeds. But either way, I think IG is favored, but. Caps has one incredible game. Rekkles gets to late one game, takes over a team fight, whatever. Then I think Fnatic can win because I do think they have more of a chance than 100 Thieves do, really at kind of winning on that individual level. And sometimes that's all it takes, right? If you get ahead enough and you are a team that knows how to close, then one mistake where Caps gets a triple kill or something in an early dragon fight, okay, well, maybe they win that game.
I do want to put a word of warning with Caps. He has amazing potential, but when you look at MSI when he was trying too hard to carry, he had the most deaths in the tournament of any player that was there. And there are definitely moments where he thinks he can do everything and then actually does get himself in trouble. Those are the things he needs to be able to clean up because Rookie and IG will punish that in a split second. So it's going to be a big proving point for Caps for sure.
I like that Caps is always ready to take whatever fight or challenge is delivered to him. But if Fnatic are drafting for a late game Rekkles, then they have to keep that in check, right?
Yeah.
If he wants to go and have these duels with Rookie or the 2-on-2s with the mid jungle, that's super exciting for us to watch, and I definitely want to see how those turn out. But they have to keep in mind for the overall team, like if they're drafting around a late game bottom lane, then don't necessarily
Vayne mid
fight every single
Vayne mid. You're banned from it.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the main selling points of Fnatic is how they are a very versatile team, and they will have a game plan and a lineup specifically tailored to beating that team. So that's what they can do with Bwipo, Rekkles, Soaz, right? They have kind of three different looks, whether it's Soaz in the top lane, Bwipo in the top lane, or Rekkles in bottom lane, or Bwipo in bottom lane. So we don't know what they would think is the best option going up against IG or against 100 Thieves, because as far as those like versatility goes, it's great in the EULCS regular season where you can pull out these different lineups and then still outperform them and then also have the stylistic advantage. But sometimes when you're that versatile, it hurts you because you haven't necessarily refined that one style enough to potentially take a game off the best team. Either way, though, anything else to say about this group?
You're feeling pretty good, I think.
It's a good draw for Fnatic. I think it's a decent draw for Fnatic. It could definitely be better, right? But I think the fact that they're unlikely to get a stronger fourth team in here, they should have a pretty good chance of getting it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just about as good of a group as you can get. Like IG, obviously is incredibly strong, but them getting in there means you're blocked from getting EDG. I think that 100 Thieves is one of the weaker on the pool 2 teams. So I do think it's a really good shot of them getting out, and that would feel really good after them getting out of MSI as well. So certainly some potential for them, but I do agree. I was kind of joking about the Vayne pick, but when I think about that game and some of those crazy picks, it's like, so while a lot of people remember, it was against Misfits, he picks Vayne mid, and everyone remembers the play where it's like Hans Sama jumping at him at Tristana and he condemns him out of the air and kills him, right? But like they were down like 10K, and against a team that played it a tiny bit better, the game would have just ended and everyone would be like, well, Caps is trolling on that Vayne mid, but everyone's like, Vayne mid is the best.
What's your percentages for this group for percentage that each team would finish first?
I give IG off the top of my head like 70%, 80% chance. I think
I was really going high. 85, I think, for IG.
Yeah, 70 or 80 for me. Probably, I guess 80.
You go 80?
Yeah.
I go 70.
Yeah.
They're super good. Their 18-1 record actually had a lot of game losses. Even though they'd always win the best of 3, they did drop a lot of games in between. So if they go in a little underprepared against even a 100 Thieves game, like it's possible that 100 Thieves plays spoiler to some of these guys. I wouldn't be too surprised if 100 Thieves takes a game off Fnatic. I'd be a little more surprised if they took a game off IG, but it's something they can do. And even though I don't think 100 Thieves will make it out of the group.
And to speak about, like we talk about, you talked about Caps kind of having some of those games where he is going too far and kind of trying too hard. And I think of JackeyLove, and I do think he has some of those games as well. I think back to spring and in playoffs, him like trying to flash forward under turrets and things like this and finish off kills. And, even when he did trade, it was like, ooh, you traded your life out when you're full health and you use a summoner. So there are times where he goes too far. And I think that, anytime you have really young players and you're bringing them on this stage with incredible amounts of pressure, that can change the way you play and that can mess things up. And I guess the last thing to mention about IG, because we never really talked about Duke, but Duke actually did play more games than the Shy in summer. So I'm going to be very interested to see how they actually decide to utilize him, because when I watch IG, I just straight up think the Shy is better. I think that the team performs better with him. But my kind of understanding or my assumption on why they use Duke is they have to give less resources to him. So it's kind of a different look on how you can play the game.
Yeah, I've heard of that a lot too. And in the sample of games that I have seen, the Shy has played pretty well when he didn't have pressure. And has been able to avoid a decent amount of
He can play tanks too. I just think he's better, but I don't really get why they're playing Duke more, to be honest. But yeah.
I definitely think that Fnatic have a really good shot here, though, and specifically, I don't think people give Broxah a lot of credit, but I think he's been extremely good. And again, since I got so excited about all the old Lee Sin players playing Lee Sin, I looked up all of the jungler accounts in Korea. to see who's practicing it. None of the North American LCS junglers I found on their OPGG accounts had Lee Sin games, but Broxah had number 1. Even Svenskeren, or at least the account that I found, didn't have Lee Sin games in the top 7 most played champions.
Okay.
But Broxah was number 1.
Okay.
So I definitely want to see him pull it out again.
Broxah is super solid. Hillsong had a great year as well. First team support, playing with really 2 different bot lane players. He's actually super good. The Fnatic lineup is very talented across the board in the European LCS. We'll see how it transfers into the world stage here. Anything else you want to say about Group D before we wrap this up?
Good luck.
Group stage in general. Who's your favorite for Worlds? Are you both RNG?
But I think barely RNG over KT, and I want to feel like I have IG up there. Afrika, that's probably my top 4.
Really? You don't have Gen.G anywhere close? Maybe the recency bias, like watching that
Afrika slammed them in playoffs.
Yeah, but I don't know.
They're really good too. It's not that they're not close. That would just be my top 4.
Okay.
Gen.G would probably be. I'd probably have them 5th, right? But those would probably be my favorites. I think I have RNG as the favorite overall. KT certainly up there, and then the next tier down would probably be IG, Afrika, pretty close, and then maybe Gen.G right behind them.
Did you actually get a picture of my power rankings, or was my hand covering it?
I got a picture.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I'll give you my. I'll give you my top 6.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. You're gonna spoil it?
Yeah. I don't want you getting the karma.
You can't get the likes for that.
I gotta
tweet it.
All right. Top 6. I said KT is the favorite.
Okay.
Then I got RNG, IG, Afrika, Gen.G, and Fnatic.
Yeah,
that's my top 6.
That's reasonable. I think that
y'all just going by the standings of the regional league.
Although tier list wise, I think the top 5 are the contenders for the World Championship.
Yeah,
Fnatic is just outside that, in my opinion.
Yeah. What about TL? How close? Where you got them, Jat?
I can't give you the whole list, man.
I'm just asking for one more.
It's not looking good.
It's not looking good.
Not looking good.
It's not looking good.
They are 1 slot below Flash Wolves right now.
Okay.
Because I think people underrate Betty.
Yeah, it's interesting though because
I'm watching a lot more VODs after this. We got like 2 weeks left before Worlds.
I like your top 6, but I do think that the top 5 feels like there's a tier there, and then the next tier starts. And Fnatic, I think, is probably at the top of that tier, but I think there's a grouping of teams there that are all quite comparable. And I think TL is in that. I think that Flash Wolves is in that.
I agree.
So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how expectations actually kind of play out, because I do think almost everyone has. I have not heard a single person say anything other than KT or RNG for favorites for Worlds, but we know how that kind of played out with Kingzone last year. Everyone thought Kingzone was going to slam, got destroyed by Samsung.
I asked Flame; he was here to pick the orbs.
Well, I didn't hear that, so my statement remains
true. He
true.
said RNG or Gen.G.
Oh, okay. I can respect it.
I mean,
they're returning world champions.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that some people think that they could win, but overwhelmingly,
I just wanted to say that because Azil said he had not heard any other options. Now you have heard.
Now you have heard.
That's true. So,
what are your options, Kobe?
I'm on the IG hype train.
For favorites?
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. You're bold.
I really am super biased for Rookie.
Oh
no, not I know we can combine our fanboy powers.
Yeah. I'm a fanboy, but I'm not as big a fanboy, I guess.
But yeah, that's kind of like wishful thinking for kind of picking a dark horse, I guess, because everybody is just saying year of RNG. They've won all the international tournaments leading up to it, so that's the go-to answer. And maybe I'm just trying to get outside of that answer.
And IG's just
trying to be a hipster, trying to say, "Ooh, IG, they haven't been at MSI. Wait for them. They were really close to winning the finals." I think that'll do it for Dive Live Group.
They were
show.
Though. They had 2 exposed inhibitors too.
Oh, they got Baron in that team fight. It was so winnable.
I was hurt or something. He didn't even get to play, and they barely lost in semifinals.
Let's pull up the bracket one more time for the group for play-in and for the main thing. Production is probably like, why is he asking for that instead of asking for the role? But I want to go over them just one last time for everyone watching the show. We will get them very soon.
Careful with asks.
I mean, you never know. I mean, I asked for KT to win LCK last year. They didn't do it. I asked for LCK.
Go over them.
I won that bet.
Yeah, sure. Right there. Here we go.
Perfect.
This is the play and draw. You obviously have the top teams, EDG, G2, C9, and G-Rex at the top of the groups. We mentioned earlier that Gambit is probably pretty happy about that. They're a Pool 2 team in Group D.
Gonna have to watch out for Supermassive as well, who has traditionally been very strong in a lot of these play-in events.
Yep. That's very true. Basically, Fenerbahce, 1907 Fenerbahce, or was it 1904 Fenerbahce?
1907.
1907? I didn't say it enough time to get it in my brain.
That's burned into my brain.
Yeah. So that's the play-in draw. The group draw, though, which we spent most of the time discussing right here, was...
right here. Headlined by Flash Wolves, RNG, KT Rolster, and Fnatic. Definitely going to be so exciting. It feels crazy that Worlds is already upon us, because I always feel like the year just starts and then Worlds is randomly there. But I'm actually ridiculously excited for some of these games to get going.
Group of Death, RNG, Gen.G, and Vitality. Liquid in that group with KT Rolster and Mad. And then Fnatic, who we just talked about with 100 Thieves and Invictus, and whoever comes in from the play-in draw.
Man, the play-ins this year also I know I'm already going to start getting excited, because last time, Cloud9, they didn't drop a game.
But are you nervous this time?
Going to build up even further. I always get super excited for Worlds, even though all the LPO and LCK fans are like, you're stupid. Why are you getting excited? Every single year, you guys are not as good. I'm like, I know that we're underdogs. That doesn't mean I can't still get excited. Underdogs are allowed to also get excited.
It's
just
more
because
fun.
You're an underdog doesn't mean you're a loser, Kobe.
Exactly.
An Albus Nox Luna
Except
support
unfortunately, we are usually the loser.
But not this year. I will not stand for it again. Nobody knocks NA out of groups. How many years?
8 times in a row?
Yeah.
It will not happen.
All right. So please join us for play-in October 1st. Our coverage starts at 1 a.m. Pacific time. We got some other stuff that I want to let you guys know about as well. We'll be doing a World's Top 20 show. So same panel as last year, ranking the World's Top 20. This year, we're doing it after play-in, so that's going to be at 10/8, so October 8th at 8 p.m. Pacific time. And the next dive episode is going to be after the group stage, which is going to be airing on October 19th. Group stage starts obviously before then. The dive is after the 8-day-long group stage. So it's time for Worlds. It's going to be hype. Thank you guys for joining. It's early on in the morning right now. You guys did a great job. This is going to be fun.
You did a great job.
See you at Worlds.
Good job, everyone. You too.
You're helping.
I should work on these outros a little bit more.